Group is diving into the current state of Amazon. Since 1994, this company has transformed from a Seattle garage into a global utility that employs over 1.5 million people. Their strategy is world famous: cost leadership and customer obsession. But as we move further into 2026, we're starting to see a gap between that high-speed strategy and the reality of the human workforce. Amazon is at a crossroads. On one hand, they're a massive tech powerhouse, but the last year has shown just how vulnerable that scale can be. From shifting geopolitical risk affecting their data centers to a changing labor market where the old ways of managing people aren't working like they used to. We're at what Andy Grove calls a strategic inflection point, where the fundamentals of the business have to evolve if the company wants to keep going. To analyze this, we've broken our presentation into a few key areas. First, we'll start with a company overview and take a look at the current events, both external and internal, that are shaping Amazon right now. Then we'll define the core problems that are facing the company, specifically around workforce sustainability and turnover. After that, we'll discuss how Amazon can fix the strategy to move forward, followed by our specific recommendations. We'll wrap everything up by walking you through the data and graphs that visualize these workforce challenges. To kick things off with the big picture, I'll hand it over to William for the company overview.
Amazon is one of the most influential companies in the global economy today. Founded in 1994 by Jeff Bezos, it has evolved far beyond an online bookstore into a diversified technology and logistics powerhouse. The company operates across multiple industries, including e-commerce, cloud computing through AWS, and a highly advanced logistics network. What makes Amazon unique is not just its scale, servicing hundreds of millions of customers, but its ability to integrate technology into every layer of operations. With over 1.5 million employees worldwide, Amazon has built a system designed for speed, convenience, and customer satisfaction. The scale is a major competitive advantage, but as we'll see, it also introduces significant complexities and pressure within the organization. Amazon's business model is built on a clear foundation: cost leadership combined with speed and convenience. The company focuses relentlessly on lowering prices while delivering products faster than competitors. A key driver behind this strategy is what Amazon calls customer obsession. Every major decision, whether pricing, logistics, or product design, is centered on improving the customer experience. Revenue is also highly diversified. Beyond retail, Amazon generates significant income from AWS subscriptions, services like Prime, and third-party marketplace sellers. What really strengthens this model is Amazon's use of advanced data analytics. The company continuously optimizes pricing, inventory, and delivery route in real time. However, maintaining this level of efficiency requires reinvestment in infrastructure and innovation, which increases operational intensity across the organization. Amazon's operational strength lies in its fulfillment and logistics network, which is one of the most advanced in the world. The company operates a massive system of fulfillment centers, sortation hubs, and last mile delivery networks. These facilities work together to ensure products move quickly and efficiently from warehouse to customer. Automation plays a major role here. Robotics and AI driven systems are used to speed up sorting, packing, and shipping processes, while real time tracking systems monitor inventory and performance. This network is designed for three key outcomes: speed, accuracy, and scalability. But while this system creates a strong competitive advantage, it also increases pressure on the operations. Maintaining high performance at this scale requires both technological precision and human effort, while leading directly into workforce challenges. Amazon's workforce is essential to its operations, particularly in the warehouse and delivery roles. These positions involve repetitive tasks, physical labor, and a strict performance expectations. Employees are often evaluated using productivity metrics and algorithm-driven systems, which emphasize speed and accuracy. While this improves efficiency, it can also create a high-pressure work environment. Challenges such as fatigue, injury risk, and job-related stress have become increasingly visible. These factors contribute to higher turnover rates and ongoing workforce instability. Even with growing automation, Amazon still relies heavily on human labor to maintain operations. This creates a critical tension because while technology enhances efficiency, the sustainability of the workforce becomes a key factor in long term performance. This brings us to the central strategic issue facing Amazon today. The company's competitive advantage is built on efficiency and rapid delivery, but achieving this comes with significant operational pressure on its workforce. High turnover and burnout disrupt productivity, increase training costs, and weaken institutional knowledge. Over time, these issues can reduce efficiency rather than improve it. Additionally, labor related challenges can introduce legal, regulatory, and reputational risks that can impact long term stability. So, the core question becomes how does Amazon maintain its operational excellence while creating a more sustainable work environment? This tension between performance and sustainability represent a strategic inflection point, and it sets the stage for the analytics and recommendations that follow in the presentation to proceed. Next, we'll discuss current issues. The floor is yours, Alexis.
In this particular section of the recording, we would like to address the current issues of high importance within our company. The main three issues are involving human capital management, infrastructure, and sustainability. To go further into this process, we like to address the worker turnover rate, the strategies geared towards mitigating these issues, as well as analyzing our financial impact of losing our employees. A lot of our major human capital management failures revolve around a high turnover rate of 150%. We also have a high volume of worker injury and liability claims, leading to settlements in court. We also have American Disabilities Act compliance gaps, in which we need to create strategies to mitigate these issues towards better compliance and internal controls towards compliance and keeping up with any new changes in laws. Our safety and health protocol measure efficiency revolves around mitigating injury claims and increasing workplace safety, while reducing hazardous working conditions and providing better safety strategies to comply with OSHA standards. To expand more into our human capital management failures, we want to draw our attention to our AI driven layoffs. These layoffs are implemented to replace key positions in which it affects employee loyalty. Employees are shifting to other competitive markets while we implement these changes. The training scheduled to increase AI efficiency is also immeasurable to the historic production pattern. So we would like to address issues involving how we can keep employees and how we can utilize AI to better fit their standards of production. Another current issue that we are facing are safety hazard liabilities involving OSHA violations and litigation, in which we are currently settling in court for. We have reports of over 30% more work injuries than above the industry average, and we also have productivity standards contributing to our turnover rate. Our legal implications are increasing, which can contribute to a bad brand and bad reputation as far as labor laws and employment goes. We want to increase this work safety strategy by promoting prevention through design. We want to increase our AI technology imprint to reduce injuries in the future. Last but not least, we would love to address the political and global implications of environmental threats towards our cybersecurity and data protection. Currently in the news, we had an Iranian missile blitz takes down our AWS data centers in Bahrain and Dubai, and it also created a glitch in our system to where our customers weren't able to make purchases on time, or they weren't able to connect within their Amazon's accounts like they would normally would. It affected our oil derivative price changes in our current economy. Our supply chain was affected, and also more than one regional infrastructure was affected. So we are implementing strategies to make sure that we create safeguards in case of political and environmental threats.
Hi, my name is Naya Allen. I will be talking about reducing turnover and burnout at Amazon from a strategic management perspective. Your strategic challenge, extremely high employee turnover and burnout, especially in fulfillment centers and mid-level management. Some warehouses see 150% annual turnover, meaning Amazon replaces its entire workforce more than once a year. That level of churn disrupts team cohesion, erodes industrial knowledge, and undermines continuous improvement. Surveys show over 40% of warehouse workers report injuries tied to exhaustion and intense work demands, creating a cycle where physical strain and stress accelerates exits. Financial impact is huge. Analysis estimate Amazon spends billions annually on recruiting, onboarding, and training replacements. Amazon's turnover and burnout problem is strategically significant because it directly undermines competitive advantage, cost efficiency, and organizational learning. Strategic management theory emphasizes aligning resources, capabilities, and culture with long term goals, but Amazon's high pressure culture is eroding the human capital needs to execute its strategy. Financially consistent replacement drives recurring hiring and training costs and growing risks as labor markets tighten and scrutiny increases. The employee brand is also at risk, especially as competitors highlight well being and development. Burnout among managers weakens leadership and slows change. Concept of strategic inflection points offers a sharp way to interpret Amazon's turnover and burnout crisis. Grove argued that when internal systems stop supporting the strategy, leaders must recognize the shift before it becomes destructive. Amazon's performance driven systems were built for rapid growth and abundant labor, but in today's tighter, more scrutinized environment, these same systems are producing burnout injuries and manager attrition. Growth would see these signs as early indicators of significant risk, evidence that execution discipline is now undermining organizational resistance. His logic suggests Amazon must redesign its people system and support structure productivity before external forces make the change unavoidable. First philosophy offers a sharp contrast to Amazon's current approach. Kelleher argued that employees are not costs but strategic assets. If you take care of employees, they take care of customers, and performance follows. Applied to Amazon, this highlights a major imbalance customer obsession without equal investment in employee well being. Southwest proved that efficiency and employee satisfaction can reinforce each other, while Amazon's heavy monitoring can signal mistrust and limit discrepancy efforts. From Kelleher's viewpoint, Amazon's turnover reflects a missed opportunity to build loyalty and culture, both powerful and hard to imitate source of competitive advantage. Addressing burnout would require elevating employee experience as a true strategic priority. Grove and Herb Kelleher offers Amazon a balanced path forward. Grove would push Amazon to treat burnout, injury rates, and manager overload as data-driven warning signs, evidence that internal systems no longer support the strategy. Kelleher, in contrast, would emphasize trust, culture, and employee experience as core drivers for performance. Together, their perspective suggests Amazon shouldn't abandon efficiency but redefine what it measures: team stability, safety, development, and leadership quality alongside productivity. This aligns with Des et al.'s focus on strategic fit. Amazon's strategy can stay the same, but its people system must evolve. By blending Grove's discipline with Kelleher's people's first philosophy, Amazon can turn vulnerability into long-term competitive strength. Step in addressing Amazon's turnover and burnout problem is redesigning performance matrix and job structures to emphasize sustainability, not just speed. Today's output heavy matrix push employees and managers to their limits. A strategic redesign would keep productivity goals but add counterbalancing indicators like injury reduction, absenteeism trends, and employment tenure, reflecting Andy Grove's principle that what gets measured gets managed. Job design improvements such as task rotation, micro breaks, and flexible rate exceptions can reduce strain without sacrificing efficiency. These changes improve reliability, quality, and ultimately customer experience. For Amazon is strengthening frontline and middle management capabilities while expanding genuine employee voice. Managers sit at the intersection of strategy and execution, yet many face overwhelming workloads and little time for people leadership. Reducing spans of control and investing in coaching focused training would improve implementation and culture. In Kelleher's terms, leaders shape culture through daily interactions, not slogans. Amazon also needs psychological safety and reliable feedback channels, anonymous reporting tied to rapid response, so concerns about safety and workflows are addressed quickly. Strategically, this blends formal controls and with informal trust, as Des et al. Emphasized. When employees feel heard and supported, discretionary efforts rise and turnover decline, strengthening long-term performance. Next, we will be transitioning over to strategic management recommendations for Amazon.
Hi, I'm Brooklyn Jackson, and I will be discussing the strategic recommendations for our analysis of Amazon. Okay, so let's dive into our recommendations for our company. Based on the problems that we've already identified, we are still facing a critical labor sustainability challenge. So we have 5 recommendations. We want to go ahead and address the labor sustainability challenge while still maintaining efficiency when it comes to our operations. We want to reduce employee burnout and injuries because this is not just an HR issue, but it's a strategic issue that directly affects everything around us: the cost structure, the productivity, and the long-term advantage when it comes to our competitors. And that's something we really want to hone in on. Number 3, we want to improve workforce retention. We want to stabilize the workforce while still maintaining our speed and efficiency because that's something that is very key and something that we want to make sure that we maintain. Next, we want to balance our automation with human labor. Specifically, if we want to dive into that, we want to propose improving our conditions for our employees, redesigning fulfillment operations, leveraging automation strategies, and still strengthening our branding as an employer. And lastly, we want to strengthen our employer brand and our leadership. the goal is not just to reduce churn, but also to protect our knowledge and improve the long-term efficiency and performance of our operations. So let's go ahead and discuss why we want to redesign the work conditions in hopes of reducing employee burnout. So our first idea is to go ahead and redesign the warehouse working conditions. And I know we said to just reduce burnout, but we also want to make sure that we are preventing injury and exhaustion of our employees. We have about 40% of workers annually reporting injuries, and right now that system is just not sustainable for our company. So we're going to work on adjusting our productivity quotas to make more realistic levels and incorporating mandatory recovery time into shifts so our employees know we do value them and the work that they do, but also that we value their health. Investments in ergonomic improvements and safety technology can also reduce the physical strain, and by improving these conditions, we can definitely lower turnover and protect our stability when it comes to our workforce. So let's go ahead and talk about the second recommendation that we have, and that is workforce retention and development in hopes of reducing the turnover. Some of the facilities are currently experiencing up to 150% annual turnover, and constantly replacing your workforce like this can be very costly and very inefficient. The plan for reducing this turnover would be introducing stronger retention incentives. And this can be tenure-based pay increases or even career advancement pathways. Upskilling programs can help employees transition into higher value roles, which will increase the engagement and reduce churn. Overall, this helps preserve the knowledge and improves our operational efficiency over time. Alrighty, our third recommendation is to better integrate automation with a human capital strategy. While some of our facilities are already pretty familiar with robotics, automation actually should be used to reduce repetitive and physically demanding tasks and not just simply increase the pressure on our workers. This would allow our workers to focus on higher value activities and reduce injury and fatigue. This balanced approach would definitely ensure that technology enhanced productivity and not just worsen our burnout. Ultimately, this is pretty critical for maintaining just efficiency and workforce sustainability. So another key issue in Amazon would be its employer brand and its leadership strain. There's many perceptions of Amazon as a last resort employer, and that can definitely weaken its ability to attract and retain talent. We should focus on investing in employer branding, emphasizing career growth, stability, and even improving working conditions for our leadership team. Alongside all of this, we also want to reduce the managerial span of control, which can definitely prevent leadership burnout and improve team oversight. Ultimately, stronger leadership and reputation can definitely improve hiring and long-term retention. So I know you're wondering, well, how are we going to get all this done? Well, it's more of a phased approach. In the short term, that's when you focus on adjusting the productivity expectations, improving the safety measures, and introducing the retention incentives. Then that's when you move on in the midterm to expanding your training programs, redesigning your workflows, and integrating more of a supportive automation system plan. And now in the long term, that's when you definitely should be focused on fully transitioning to more of a sustainable labor model that could balance efficiency with stability. So your indicators of key performance would be turnover rates, injury rates, employee satisfaction, and cost per hire. So if implemented successfully, all in all, these strategies will produce several important outcomes. So first, turnover rates will decrease. You'll see a reducing of hiring and lowered training costs. Following that, you'll have improved working conditions, which could lower injury rates and increase employee satisfaction. Third, you will see retaining of experienced workers, and this could preserve institutional knowledge, and improve productivity. Ultimately, in the end, all of this will strengthen the operational reliability and protect its advantage when it comes to companies such as Walmart or even Target. And this transforms the labor from a cost burden into a strategic asset.
As you can see here in the graph, Amazon revenue has been growing consistently from 2019 to 2023. Each year shows a steady increase, which tells us that the company has been able to maintain strong demand and scale its operation effectively. So, from a strategic management perspective, this reflects Amazon's ability to sustain a competitive advantage over time. They are not just growing, but doing so consistently, which is key in long term strategy. However, while this growth looks positive, it also raises an important point. As companies grow this fast, they need to make sure their internal operation can keep up with that pace. Now, looking at this graph, you can see that Amazon's workforce increased significantly between 2019 and 2021. That growth aligns with the increase in demand during that period. But after 2021, the number of employees start to level off. So even though the company is still growing, they are not adding employees at the same rate. So that's a problem. So this suggests a shift in strategy. Instead of relying instead of relying on hiring more people, Amazon may be focusing more on effectiveness, automation, and improving productivity, which ties into strategic decision around resource management. As you can see in this combined graph, because this is what we call a combined graph, there is a noticeable gap between revenue growth and workforce growth. Revenue continues to increase steadily while employee growth slows down after 2021. So this gap highlights a key strategic issue. The balance between growth and capacity. When revenue grows faster than the workforce, it can create it can create pressure on employees and lead to operational challenges. So, at the same time, it may also indicate that Amazon is using technology and automation to support its growth instead of expanding its workforce. So, overall, this graph shows the importance of aligning business growth with internal capacity to ensure long term sustainability. Thank you.
So those graphs really highlight the core of the problem. We can see that the gap between the growth we want and our actual workforce capacity is getting tighter. We have the data showing where the pressure is. Now we need to talk about how we can actually fix it. If we want to close that gap, we can't just ask people to work harder or faster. We have to change the way the work itself is done. That starts with redefining what we actually mean by operational excellence. Usually, when we talk about that, we're talking about speed. How fast can we get package from point A to point B? But if you want a company to actually last, you have to look at the human side of that speed. First, we need to change how we measure success. Right now, it's all about the clock, but we're suggesting a move toward a more sustainable throughput approach. Think about it this way. In a factory, if a machine breaks, it's a huge deal. It's an operational defect. We should treat human burnout and injury rates with that same level of urgency. If our workers are getting worn out or hurt, that shouldn't just be part of the job. It should be seen as a major failure, just like a late delivery or a lost package. We have to make the work something people can actually keep doing long term without breaking down. The next thing we need to address are the robots. There's always this fear that automation is just about replacing humans to save money. We want to change that story. Instead of worker replacement, we should focus on physical augmentation. Basically, use the robots to do the dirty work, the heavy lifting, and the repetitive motions that cause back and joint issues. If we let the machines handle the physical strain, it frees up the humans to handle the high-value stuff like oversight and problem solving, which machines are still not great at doing anyway. To make this work, we also have to look at management. It's hard to feel supported when your boss is managing 100 people and only talks to you when you're moving too slow. We're proposing that we decrease the number of people each manager looks after so they can actually be coaches, not just monitors. And the most important part, when employees speak up or give feedback, the company has to actually close the loop and do something about it. You can't have trust without that back and forth. To wrap it up, the labor market is getting really tight. People have choices. If Amazon wants to scale for another 10 or so years, they have to move from being customer obsessed to being employee obsessed. Solving these labor issues isn't just the nice thing to do, it's a must-have. If you don't have a healthy, committed workforce, then you won't have a company. Thank you for your time.